Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Sydney Applegate, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to hand paint a dimensional ponytail. So we're talking hand painted, freehand, traditional balayage, no foil work, just under the nape under here. This is just the perfect technique for those clients who wear their hair up in a ponytail all the time or in a claw clip, just to give them some ribbons of color underneath there that'll grow out seamlessly. So I went ahead and clipped away the top part of her hair from about her ears up, since today we're just going to be talking about this little ponytail piece here. Go ahead and comb this entire section straight up, just like they would if they were to put it in a ponytail or put it in a claw clip, but you've got it nice and smoothed out. Grab it at the very top here with some tension and just kind of wiggle it around a little bit. Try to see where naturally the hair kind of pops out, and that's where you want to paint. We're going for just nice dimensional ribbons today. I'm gonna go in and carve out 2 to 3 chunks per side of the hairline like this. So it's a really deep weave. And we're just gonna mimic that on the other side. So I'm seeing naturally where that hair wants to pop out. And you wanna dig deep into the hair. And there we go. So this is kind of what it should look like. Rough draft. Flip this out of the way. And then go ahead and look at what you have. Before you start to paint, really visualize what this is gonna look like if you go in and paint all of that. So now I like to go in and possibly pull out some of the hair so that it's not too much coverage. I don't want this to be full coverage. I want this to really be, ribbons that pop. So I'm gonna go in here and take out, let's weave it up this way, a few pieces. There we go. See, now we kind of have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 nice ribbons right here coming up, and then we've got 3 nice ribbons coming here. My next tip is have your client tilt their head away from you and down a little bit. This is going to give you more control over your tension. So if they have their head straight up like this, and then you're trying to paint, you're going to be bending your body in weird ways. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be difficult to paint in the way you want. So definitely have them tilt down and away from you just to get the best angle. So I'm going to go in with just a little bit of that lightener just on the very tip of my brush to make my application nice and clean. Now you're gonna hold that hair nice and tight. You need that tension, okay? So you're holding it, you're over directing it this way. Keep in mind that when it comes back down, it's gonna fall this way, towards her shoulder, not this way. We'll get to that in a minute when we put the saran wrap on there. We're gonna pinch it tight right here at the top, and we're gonna go in zone 2 first to apply our product. You want to kind of smooth that out before you start creating your real shape. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more product right there on the tip of my brush. We're going to go back in, zone 2 again. I really want to saturate this because I want to show you what an impact balayage can make. Don't forget to keep that tension. And I'm going to go in for more product again so that I can start creating my high points. So now I'm going to go ahead and just visualize where I want these ribbons to kind of come to the scalp. I'm going to start right here in the middle, and I'm aiming to create a ribbon right here, because to me, that's where that highlight should live. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm brushing back, but I'm moving my brush toward the root to get that perfect line. I kind of move the hair to make sure I'm still where I want it to be, and start brushing towards the scalp in a C motion so I can get really close. Boom, just like that. So we're going to keep going, adding a little bit more to my brush. And I'm gonna create another high point right here. Make sure my tension's good again. Again, I'm brushing backwards towards the tip, towards the ends of the hair, but I'm moving forward towards the base, towards that root. And I'm going for right there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start going forward towards the scalp to create that high point. And we'll just keep doing that in all of these little chunks that we carved out when we were sectioning out the hair. Now I'm gonna aim for this spot right here. I'm gonna start brushing towards the scalp to get it all the way to the top. And this is so you don't put too much product at the root. If you go a little too heavy right there, you might end up with too much product and then you have nowhere to blend. So you wanna really lay the product on more here in zone 2 and then blend up towards the scalp in zone 1. That's what works for me. We're brushing towards the scalp. There we go. Beautiful. So then we're gonna just go in between these kind of bold points and just blend up towards the scalp a little bit. Take your time, get it exactly how you want it before you move on. Your clients will appreciate you taking your time. Here's the part that people get a little bit caught up on, is how to get that hair back down. How do you put the saran wrap on it, your balayage wrap, whatever you want to call it, foils if you choose to use them. And here's how I do that. So now that I've got my blend going here, I try to brush towards the ends as close as I can. And in this case, I am going to fully saturate the ends. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay it over her hair, just like that. So it stays while I can grab the balayage wrap. Now remember I said, when we pull this back down, it's gonna fall this way towards her shoulders versus towards the back. So you want to put your saran wrap, your balayage wrap on there in that way versus putting it this way. You're gonna run out of saran wrap. You're gonna run out of balayage film. I'm gonna use the corner here and I'm gonna put it on her base in about a hand's worth here. So we really wanna make sure we're gently pressing into this area where it bends. This is where it's gonna bend when it comes back down, right? Then you can go ahead and grab the ends there, gently hold onto this area and flip it back over and just kind of let it fall where it wants to. Just like that. Again, for this look, I am going to fully saturate the ends for maximum impact. You don't have to fully saturate the ends. If they already have pre-lightened ends, if they don't want a lot of impact, you definitely don't have to, but I typically do for this section. And then I like to take my brush and go towards the scalp again to blend any harsh lines. And sometimes you can even just gently hold the balayage wrap, and that will give you a little bit of control over your tension. Now I'm just gonna take that and fold it on over. We can kind of wrap this side around. Just gonna help incubate it a little bit, especially since I don't have any natural warmth from Miss Manny Quinn here. Keep in mind that when you flip that over the top of their head, you might notice that you get a little bit of bleach up there. It's okay, don't worry about it, especially since we're using the clay lightener. Just go ahead and rub that off. You can use a comb if you want to, a towel if you're really worried about it. As long as you catch it early, it'll be okay. But it's a great way to be able to get that balayage wrap on there without an assistant, because I know how frustrating it can be. We're gonna go ahead and just do the same thing on this side. I'm holding the hair all the way up, just like it would be in a ponytail, to go ahead and start painting and creating saturation in zone 2. Keep in mind, guys, if your client wanted, let's say, lots of coverage under here, instead of these like little ribbons that pop, you would simply just create larger chunks, or maybe even take slices around the hairline, right? Instead of weaving it like that. So there's so many different placements that you could use with this. But what I'm hoping that you learn from today is that you can really utilize hand painted balayage back here and not rely on foils to get a lot of brightness. So you can see I'm just finding my high points and painting all the way down towards the scalp. Once again, feel free to do as I'm doing and move around until it feels comfortable for you. Don't paint in a way that is hurting your body, because that's just going to make you, it's going to be really hard for you to paint the hair in a really awesome way if you're not comfortable, right? So don't be afraid to reposition yourself or your client to get the best angle and the best tension. And there we go. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and paint all the way up towards those tips, towards the ends, as far as we can, making sure to have really good, even saturation. And then we're going to go ahead, I'm going to take my fingers here and just get rid of the lightener that's on these little hairs. You can take the rat tail of your comb to really smooth out some of these little baby hairs that you get. You could also, before you start, comb them away, tease them out of the way. Sometimes clients have a lot of those little baby hairs and you don't want to paint them. So however you want to do it, but this is definitely a great way to go ahead and paint them, but keep them from brushing up and getting all frizzy. And sometimes I can get a little closer to the scalp once I've gotten those little guys out of my way. So now we're gonna go ahead, just like before, and place this section right on top of her head, and it should stay there for you. So I'm gonna take that corner of my balayage wrap, we're gonna press it into the base about a hand's wide worth, right? So we can cover that entire area that wants to bend. Then we'll take the ends, we're gonna hold our hand right here as we pull the section back down. We just kind of let it fall naturally. Some spots on here, don't worry about that. Just take your brush, comb that away, your comb, again, a towel. So now I'm gonna go ahead and saturate these ends. As you can see, the way that I've done this, taking these really thick chunks, we don't have any lightener on this underneath surface. We're just gonna create some saturation through the ends and make sure we're blending. Saturate all the way through, even onto the wrap here. The more you saturate, the better the lift you're gonna get. And it also kind of helps just glue that section to the balayage film. What's left over of this wrap, fold it over. And kind of pull it around a few times. Again, that's just gonna help incubate and get things lifting really nicely for you. And there we have it. These are your two sections, traditional balayage. I'm gonna let this process for about 30 to 45 minutes to see how light we can get her. And then we'll come back and I'll show you the results. So here we are. I'm gonna pull off that wrap so you can see what it's looking like. I would say we got her a nice level 8 And here's what it looks like on this side. You can see it's gorgeous. There's nothing splotchy about it. Here is the other side. Again, really, really nice lift. Really nice blend. This is what it looks like all together. We've got this gorgeous halo of color. And then all of this dark that's been pinned away is just going to create so much depth and dimension behind that. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse her out and let you guys see what it looks like all the way dried.